straight into it. Right, recording in progress. Therese and Lim, welcome to the Luke Farr Show, show to motivate, educate, and inspire our young generation of today. And thank you very much, first and foremost, for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's so nice to, being on this show and being part of it. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's run us through. I mean, last night I was actually watching you. You were doing actually a macadamia ice cream. Obviously, that was many moons ago. But for me, I mean, that's one of my favourites. And for me, I actually live just stone's throw from Movenpick, which are well renowned for their macadamia white chocolate. So I'm going to blame you for the calorie intake from me last night. But anyway, run us through. I mean, what's been happening since the show, and how's it been since?
So since the show, I went back to work for just a little bit, and I was just like, okay, kind of let's see how the big data world is going back, and it was just, I guess, motivation that, and also, the right thing to actually quit. I'm not big data anymore. So since then, I've doing work experience with Reynolds at his dessert bar, and so far it's been amazing. Such an amazing experience.
Nice. That's awesome, because you are renowned as the dessert queen, right?
Well, thank you.
but where did that come from? Like, have you always, like, did you grow up around like a family making desserts, or did you just have a passion for desserts, or where did the term of you just being renowned for like both not only cocktails but desserts, where did that brand image kind of come from, apart from the show?
I think that's an interesting one, because I never actually saw myself as a dessert queen or really crowned myself that. I think that just naturally happened somehow. But I mean, growing up, I come from a rich cultural background. My dad is Chinese, my mum's Burmese Taiwanese. And so I, grew up with, such really nice homely food. With curries and a lot of tart spicy salads and noodles. But I think last year, 2020, I was working from home at least 6 months of the year. And during that time when everyone was, doing puzzles, making sourdough, I thought I would just give...
Doing puzzles and making sourdough.
Yeah.
Is that what everyone's doing in lockdown? Yeah,
I think so.
Puzzles and sourdough.
Yeah.
What about pancakes?
Pancakes, anything.
Anything in lockdown.
Pancakes, waffles, anything in lockdown. So I think I've always been such a, keen baker, but I think, with more time on my hand, I started exploring more. I started watching a lot of YouTube. I started thinking, why not do something with isomalt, and then natural thing to think of to do. You're right.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to jump in there, but I've heard that you didn't want to take your apron back home. Is it more of a out of sight, out of mind scenario, or why did you not want that as memorabilia?
The pin, you mean? Look,
I've done a little bit of research. I'm not going to lie. Come on, you got to know your guests.
Yeah. Look, let's just park the pin. I think I have a love-hate relationship with the pin. Some days it's carried me forward really, really nicely, and some days it's a little bit of a curse. So I'll just like to park that and give it back. Yeah.
Hey, fair enough. I agree. What's parked is forgotten, right?
Right. It's time 100%. To move on.
Hey, can we talk a little bit about childhood? Like, what was it like sort of growing up in the kitchen? Were you always around cooking, and just run me through that dynamic?
Absolutely. I was always around cooking. My mum comes from a massive family of 9 children. So I had a lot of aunties, a lot of aunties and my grandma, sitting around making dumplings. That's what I grew up making. So we would make I have vivid memories of, making dumplings with my family. And in Taiwan, it's a very, very vast hilly area. And so my uncles would actually take me going, shrimp fishing. And also
what do you think makes a good dumpling? I'm just being honest here, but I've tried many different dumplings globally. And there's good and bad, but what's your take on that? Obviously you must know, growing up making a lot of dumplings, but what do you think the best recipe for a dumpling is? The pastry, isn't it?
Oh, the pastry, yes, it has to be not thick. if it's too thick, it's too doughy, it's not pleasurable to eat. But the inside, it needs to be moist, it needs to be juicy, so it needs to be marinated. And when you bite into it, like all the juices should like, you know, spurt in your mouth, and that's just happiness in one bite. Yeah, that's the perfect thing.
Nice. And does that take a lot of preparation in terms of making that? And like, is it like sort of kneading the, like how does the actual like process work in order to make it so thin? Is it a fine art, or is it quite easy?
It is a fine art. Overseas there's actually people just making dumpling dough and on the street, and the whole day their specialties is just making dumpling dough or hand cut, hand rolled. And so we would actually go downstairs and buy it from the dumpling skin vendor, and then we'll come back home, we'll actually make the filling ourselves. We have a massive bucket of filling, and there's probably like around like at least 6 of us around the table just folding dumplings all day, having a good yarn about life, about like, memories.
Really?
So those were my
how long did that process go? Was it just folding dumpling dough, or was there something to keep you occupied, like a green tea or a beverage on the side to keep you going over a prolonged period of time?
There was definitely bubble milk tea in the background. A lot of bubble milk tea.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to bring it up, but I am going to bring it up. But I mean, you didn't use your immunity, and why did you not? And what like how'd that feel for you? What were the emotions running through at that time? Run me through what that was like.
Great question. I think
I'm sorry, I'm the elephant in the room. Like,
I know.
Like, no holds bars. It's straight into the crux here.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. No, it's been a while. I've you know, come to terms with it. Chocolate and I, we're mending our relationship. It's fine. We're friends now.
And you've ditched your apron, so I knew I could bring
ditched
it up.
my apron, ditched everything. It's fine. We've been through a few counselling sessions. But just yeah.
But you get a discount because you're a MasterChef Australia contestant. Or?
Yeah. So from memory at that point in time, there was so many emotions going through. I think like as a viewer, it's just so easy to make decisions because you're not stressed, right? But when you're in that environment, when you have so many cameras on you, you have so many eyes on you, people screaming from the gantry at you, I from early on, I knew that I needed to I learned to really back myself. You know, with the pressure test the week before, I was also in there, and that was the first recipe pressure test that we ever had. During that time,
was that like, so that must have been so much pressure, cameras rolling. You've got to come up with new combinations and techniques on the spot and on the fly in front of judges. Like, I mean, how did you keep a cool head in crisis? Like, are you generally very good at that, or like, was there any form of stress and anxiety that you experienced through that? Like, run us through how you dealt with that amount of pressure. Hence the name pressure test.
Yes. I don't think you know how to deal with it unless you're really in that situation, because I mean, like, I come from a corporate environment. When it's really, really stressful, you kind of just sit on it overnight. You have time to think about it. You breathe, write an email the next morning. That's how I deal with it. So, but in situations,
you can park. Park it.
Sorry guys, I'll write an email. Get back to you later.
It's a little bit different with television that's going like they're filming, so you can't say to the camera, sorry guys, if you don't mind, can I just get myself together and you can come back in 24 hours?
Yeah. Well, so I think like in situations when you're under the watchful eyes of everyone, camera, you just have to breathe through and just really think of what the task is on hand. Think of what you can MacGyver in front of you, think of what you can substitute in front of you. And I think we were also given techniques to prepare, and you know, one of the techniques that we were told to do was actually think of as many underbench staple recipes that you can make. So when you go into a pickle, you can whip another recipe out, so you kind of just know what to do. But in pressure test, you just have to move on and motor on. During the tart pressure test, I was actually 20 minutes behind Connor the whole way through, you know, and people were actually asking me, are you going to use a pin? And I just thought, no, I just had the mentality that if I kind of just stuck to my guns and really, really pushed through, like I can push through. And I was actually really glad that, you know, I did that, because in the end, it actually did go towards my favor. And that was a really big confidence boost to me. And, you know, I learned a lot about myself, you know, to kind of just give up.
I did gather that. Sorry, we're just having battery scenarios. Yeah. So in essence, the pressure test, you're to conclude, you're quite okay under pressure.
I think I was quite okay, but when it came to the Kirsten Tibbles, I kind of knew that it wasn't going my way, and I think in that moment I think I just died by my sword, because in some ways you had to just go by your gut feeling in like really high pressure situations like that. And I think subconsciously my strong internal values came out and kind of made the decision for me. And growing up, you know, integrity was a massive, you know, value that I grew up with. And I kind of just thought, okay, if they say that I'm the dessert queen and I can't, you know, do a dessert pressure test, then maybe I do deserve to go home. You know, I think I just felt like if I was to use my
Well, that's great. So so within yourself, you had the accountability. You were like, right, if I can't deliver on this, then sure, I'm more than happy to go home. And you kind of are aware of your strengths and weaknesses, essentially.
Yeah. And I didn't want to be a phony and just kind of be like, nope, put my hand up, you know, easy way out. Yeah,
110%. Yeah, because I've researched, and you say that you're a perfectionist, and I mean, and what comes with that is a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, how's that been throughout your life, being a perfectionist, and what have been the sort of challenges along the way? I know a lot of people that are perfectionists, you know, suffer from many different sort of, I guess, avenues around just always wanting to either be right, be perfect, but all the time. But I mean, that also can bring a range of challenges. Run us through a couple of those that you've dealt with over the times of constantly trying to be perfect.
Oh, many. I think I mean I can only, you know, go by my background. So I'm an accountant. I'm a data analyst. I mean, like perfect. I think perfection.
Well, that makes sense. The numbers have to be right.
Yeah, the numbers have to be right. Like it has to be perfect. So I think my kind of like academic training and my work kind of, you know, instilled, you know, the perfectionist and perfectionism in me. And I mean, the numbers have to be right. It can't be like a little bit gray. So I mean, like when it came to cooking, you know, I loved doing pastry, because you have to be perfect in the ratios, in the ingredients, in the amounts. Otherwise, you know, everything will be thrown out. It won't work. And so that's why it kind of just went hand in hand with what I liked.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but you know, in a savory context, you can kind of just have fun with it. A little bit salty, okay, put some more water in it, and a little more salt. You know, sprinkle a little bit of that, taste it. Oh yeah, Bob's your uncle. Yeah.
Also, I love on the show how they do the mystery box. You know, it's like, oh, do I choose these ingredients or so? And then I love it how the host, they wait it out. They're like, hey guys, are you sure you want to take that one? Yeah. And then people start changing their mind. And in the last episode that I watched last night, so 2 people initially went for the mystery box, but then changed to the clear box. And so, like, what was your thoughts? Did you constantly look at that clear box and be like, yep, those are the ingredients I want to work with? Or
no, I looked at it and I looked at, okay, what are my strengths? My strengths are desserts. And those items in the clear mystery box did not play to my strengths. They were more towards seafood. And the only thing that was mildly interesting were walnuts. And walnuts, you know, doesn't really tickle my fancy. So I definitely that's why I went for the wooden box, because you've got more ingredients and, you know, there's more to play around with. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could go wrong if you open the box and it's an absolute dud.
Yeah.
What would you do there, though? It's like you can't go back, can you? You can't circle back. Hey, let's run through sort of like for people out there, especially the youth and stuff that are just getting into cooking, they're learning, they're developing. I mean, apart from just a 300-page cookbook and, you know, requiring all these exotic fancy ingredients, but like, what are your tips and tools for people out there that just need to sort of, I guess, get on their way with the bare basics of cooking? What would your advice be in terms of just enabling them to get in the kitchen, give it a go, and to at least cook a decent meal?
The basics, like, you know, how to do a sauce, how to cook the perfect steak.
Roast chicken, bangers and mash, getting the heat right,
bangers and mash.
Like what, I mean, I know you're the dessert queen, but I also know that you definitely, well, dumplings are your key. Apart from that, just the basics for the youth out there that really are wanting to get a decent meal under the belt that's healthy, nutritious, and tasty. We all want that.
Purees, and also think of ways that actually reduce waste, like, you know, your carrot tops, your onion skins, you know, the stuff, the leaves, you know, on celery, on top of celery sticks. Like, all of these can be reused to make a really, really good hearty vegetable stock. I think to be a good cook, a home cook, is to, you know, think of ways where you can reduce waste, and think of ways where you can you reuse things as well. And also like, you know, have recipes underneath your belt that you can actually use with only just pantry staples, because that was your biggest game changer in MasterChef Kitchen, knowing what to use and having a lot of recipes underneath your belt just using pantry staples.
Yeah, nice. And what's your go-to dish at home when you're cooking?
Ooh, for dinner.
And you can't say dumplings.
Okay, I can't say dumplings. I won't say dumplings.
You can't say dumplings. Like a proper meal. What's your just go-to? What's your absolute signature dish?
Okay, my absolute signature dish would be something so hearty. It would.
What do you mean by hearty?
Hearty,
how do you define hearty? Like the Scottish would say, right, it'll be absolute it'll be a ribeye steak with maybe a bit of mash, no veggies. But how do you define hearty?
Something, you know, that would warm up your soul and make you really, really happy. You know, something that you would want to eat when you're sick. Something when you eat and it'll make you really, really nostalgic. And brings you back memories. So for me, those things would be Taiwanese beef noodle soup, because it reminds me of my childhood.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yes. So that's
so good.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be just dumplings every time.
Dumplings.
They do. They're so good.
Pan fried or boiled?
Both.
Both?
But I do like the boiled dumplings.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Soft. Pork and prawn shumai. Oof.
Yes. Yum. Prawn dumplings, Parker.
Oh, unbelievable. Hey, let's talk a little bit around, so obviously challenging times there and lockdown for you. I mean, you guys are bouncing in and out of it. Like, what have you been surely you've been creating some absolute masterpieces in the kitchen because you've had a lot of time at home. What have you been working on, like between cocktails and your desserts? What's some new innovative recipes that are about to be surfaced across your Instagram?
I'm combining them both. Cocktails and desserts.
Yeah, true. Have you actually, in all seriousness, have you tried that?
It's the best thing. For me personally, I can't actually handle a lot of alcohol. My friends call me the one-shot wonder, and they always tease me, oh, is one drink Therese going to come out? Is two drink Therese going to come out tonight? So because of that.
How does that's a good topic too. So how does your personality change from one shot to two shot? What are you doing after two shots?
I think my volume goes a bit higher.
Have you at least got the volume up on the computer though to know that it's not soft?
I got that. I've got that right.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
But are you experimenting with that? Because I could see a bit of macadamia nut ice cream in an espresso martini. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, just still working my relationships with macadamias, but I think, you know, it's good, really, really good combination there. Macadamia is a really, really good nut. So why not develop? I might as well develop a recipe for you. Macadamia nut with, what's your favorite cocktail?
Oh, hard. It'll be espresso martini for sure.
Okay, espresso martini. Okay, I'll whip something up for you, Luke.
Whip something. Thank you. Yeah. Send that through. I don't know. Send it fast post, please. Yeah, because I don't want the ice cream to melt. Where can we expect to see you in the next sort of 6 to 12 months? Any new projects you're working on?
So far, I'm looking into the FMCG space. I have been thinking of doing more work experience, but and probably more brand collaborations. But in the meantime, what I'm really knuckling down is developing my own product to launch. So it's still in the early infant stages, and
are we allowed to talk about it, the early product, or no?
So far, not yet. Not yet.
Anything to do with macadamias? No.
There could be macadamias, and there could be a lot of
up for speculation. Okay, right. I get the hint. I get it. Okay, we'll just keep it quiet, right? And when's that launching?
I'm hoping for that to be launched for summer, so in 6 months' time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're sending me that product along with an espresso martini and a mac. You're doing 2 packages to New Zealand. Is it?
Yes, I'm sending you everything. You're going to be my loyal from now on.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll promote. You can be the new sponsor for the show, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Therese, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for coming on the show, the Luke Farr Show to motivate, educate, and inspire our next generation of leaders. And you are certainly leading the way, not only desserts, but everything, all foods in general. You sound very versatile. But thank you, in a nutshell. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Had so much fun.
I'll just hit the stop record.